guy.
That should record. But you're fine, just on the GoPro.
No, you know what it is though? I mean, that dude, he was gritty. You know, everybody talk about Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee, and believe me, they were out there. But Billy Jack was cool. Look him up right now. Look him up.
I'll Google him.
Would you please?
Yeah.
There's a YouTube video of him where it's kind of a typical scene where it's, you know, he's fighting for the, you know, for the people that can't speak up and.
Fight scene in the park, is that the one? Or no?
Yeah. Watch what he, just watch it. Just watch his attitude.
Takes on town. Billy Jack takes on town.
Check him out, man. I mean.
Is he with the cowboy hat?
Yeah.
Okay.
But listen, yeah. Again, I don't think he did the fight scenes, but I didn't know that when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. So the difference is though, Chuck Norris is the real deal.
Yeah, but look, you talk about influence though. But at the time as a kid.
You're right.
Yeah. Does he?
Passive and nonviolent like they are. Should I fast forward and talking?
No.
Watch it.
Well, how long is the scene?
5 minutes.
Maybe the fight scene's that long. What? Can I see you work on it? No.
The one on the charger here. This one or no? Or is it a different
No,
one?
it's a different one.
So flip it. It's upside down. There you go.
Come on. Oh, right here. You ready?
Yeah, let's see it.
Liberty Mutual saved us almost
Oh.
$800 when we switched our auto.
You talk. I'm just saying though.
Mutual
I'll let
insurance.
Stupid ads. Okay. Oh, there he is, right? Oh, he's taking the boots off.
Okay. Yeah.
Nobody in town's gonna help you.
Listen. This is 1970, man.
He's taking his socks and shoes off.
Oh yeah.
Please don't go up there.
Remember, it's 1970.
I'm
You know what I mean?
not recording here yet on the microphone,
Yeah.
so we're good. Billy Jack. Oh, look at those old cars. Yeah, you're right. This is definitely old. Old Jeep or something here. Uh-oh. Put that hood back down. There's a kid knocked out on the ground. Right?
He puts it on him, man.
Oh, dang. The kid came out from behind the tree on him. He's like, oh, I'm not going to... Oh, dang. They're all coming out.
They are. Typical. I mean, I feel like that whole. Are we recording?
No.
No, I feel like that whole concept or storyline. You know, you got the rich guy that runs the town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of Patrick Swayze-ish and all that.
Oh, yeah.
That was to me like the beginning of it. You know.
Yeah.
And you got a guy like him. He's a former Marine, Green
Like walking
Beret.
tall.
Yeah. This is the karate version. Actually, it was Aikido, but he talks some cool shit to him. This is his voice. It was very Clint Eastwood-ish.
Oh, yeah, here he is. Yeah, the guy that runs the town.
You think you can do just as you please? I told you you'd make a mistake and I'd be waiting. Watch his feet.
He's very,
He can do anything he wants with his feet.
very composed, right?
Listen,
You think those Green Beret karate tricks gonna help you against all these boys?
he's cool.
Well, it doesn't look to me like I really have any choice now, does it?
Whoa.
That's right, you don't. You know what I think I'm gonna do then? Just for the hell of it. Tell me. I'm gonna take this right foot. And I'm gonna walk you on that side of your face. And you wanna know something? There's not a damn thing you're gonna be able to do about it.
Come on, man. For 1970 though. Wait, here it goes.
Is that like a question mark kick? Right?
Pressing
Whoa,
kick.
Dang, yeah. Dang. Yeah. So,
Son of a bitch.
oh, you got some good kicks, huh? Oh, it is like Aikido, you're right.
Yeah.
Huh.
But my point is though, I mean, you talk about, you know, I'm 47.
Yeah. Mixed with parkour.
Huh?
He's jumping over fences and stuff. Wow. That's funny. All right, let's get into it.
But my point is though, I mean, back then, I mean, that was, you know, that's some cool shit back then, man.
Yeah. Dude, all right, I'll do
All
it.
right.
So you've heard my intro, it's super cheesy. We gotta get that changed eventually, but until then, I'll just bring it in with Tommy Woodruff, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt, owner of Core Combat Sports. Blah 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 blah. He's the man. Look at him. He's got a handsome beard. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do that. All right.
Old Viking beard.
What's up, listeners? Today I have Tommy Woodruff with me, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt, owner of Core Combat Sports, and a vicious-looking beard. Tommy, how you doing?
Doing well, Joey.
Thanks for coming out, man. Yeah, this is fun. This is fun. We just got done watching actually Billy Jack video off the air. That was cool.
Absolutely.
So that'd be one of your role models growing up, right?
Yes, I am a child of the '70s.
Yeah.
So
Still a young man. Still getting after it too. I see.
yeah, absolutely. 47 years old and no plans to stop.
Nice. So if we could fill just the people listening that don't know who you are, if we could just fill them in on you and kind of your backstory. Are you like originally from the Rockford area, grew up here? Or?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm born and raised in Belvedere, Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah. Then after that, moved to Hawaii for a bit. Yeah, got some stories to tell you about that. And lived in Virginia, near the D.C. area, for a while. And then I moved back to Rockford in the early '90s, so I've been here ever since.
So the earlier moves, was that your parents then that did the moving there, or was that you did that yourself?
No, actually, when I was like 9 years old, we moved to Hawaii. That was me and my mother.
Okay.
Parents are split up.
Okay.
And Mom just wanted to get out of, like we talked about,
Yeah,
wanted to get out of Illinois, right?
Sure.
The weather and all that. So my aunt was in the Navy, and she was like, look, come out here. So that was like late '70s, early '80s. Yeah, lived there for about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and then came back, stayed for a couple years, and then there again, we picked up and moved and went to the Virginia, D.C. area for a while.
Do you have a lot of memories from Hawaii when you were younger, or?
I do. Yeah, it was good. It was good and bad. It was a love-hate thing.
Sure. I've never been. So.
No.
No.
Yeah, it was good, but then it was rough, very rough. The locals do not like.
No new people.
They don't like mainlanders.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say all of them, but a lot of them don't like it. As a matter of fact, yeah, I was called first time I ever was called a haole.
Like you had to look it up. What is this? Right?
It's equivalent to a honky.
Yeah.
And
that's fine.
Yeah, it was rough though, man. So I was constantly getting
picked on.
in fights, man.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, and I was getting my ass kicked all the time, every other day.
Really?
Yeah, and maybe it's not a fair, I don't know how it is now, but it was rough.
Wow.
Which is odd because we'll probably get into this, but I was bullied before I went to Hawaii.
So living here, growing up, you were dealing with that.
I was, man. So you talk about jumping from the frying pan to the fire. I thought, we're out of here, this is good.
Woohoo, I'm gone,
Yeah.
safe.
Yep.
So are they like that with tourists too, or just?
I was pretty
trying to
young,
learn?
so I don't know exactly how that dynamic worked.
Okay.
I just know that if you were Japanese or Caucasian, Japanese got it worse.
Really?
Yeah, because they tend to buy, a lot of the Japanese, or people with money buy a lot of the land there, so they have a real bone to pick with them.
Sure. So you're the kid. It's your fault, right? I mean, somehow they take it out on you. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You just looked at them wrong, and that was enough for them to. Yeah, so it was a rough year for me. But looking back, I mean, it was what a learning experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It toughened you up quite a bit, huh?
It did, absolutely. It toughened me up. Yeah, that was a game changer. Because when I moved back, of course, I guess I don't know. We need to talk about how I was bullied prior to going there, but that was rough too.
Yeah.
And but nothing like Hawaii though.
Yeah. What was it like? I mean, starting from an early age, like how young were you? I mean,
That's a good question. I don't recall. I don't know. Maybe second, third grade.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was. I don't like the whole victim thing. I don't like acting that way, but I don't know why it was me. I'm not saying it was only me, but I definitely that was a rough few years in grade school. There was just like 3 or 4 guys,
Really?
and I think what it was is if one starts on you.
Oh yeah, then it's easy to jump in, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, and then just getting pounded on. And my mother would constantly go to the principal, and we try to fix it, but it would go away for a little bit and then come back.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was rough. And like I said, my mother's like, we're out of here. We're not because of that only, but just wanted to kind of expand her horizons. And come on, it's Hawaii.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Who wouldn't want to try it at
Yeah,
least?
I
right?
mean, when I was growing up at that time, when we were going, Magnum PI.
Oh, hello, yeah.
So yeah, we just moved out there. My mom had a good experience out there. Mine wasn't so pleasant. Of course, in the summertime or when school wasn't in session, yeah, it was what you think it is.
Yeah.
And boogie boarding and the beach and all the things that it has to offer. The scenery, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
looks like it in pictures anyway.
It is. It's
I
a
want to
really-
go.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be like a good spot for like a destination wedding. Just you and your wife just go. Don't invite anyone else. Just
No.
disappear and get married. right?
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
kind of did that, me and my wife. I mean, we didn't go to Hawaii, but we went to Jamaica.
Yeah. Just
And,
it ends up being cheaper than throwing like a big bash here in town, and honestly, like probably more fun too that way.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's less stressful,
Yeah.
which is,
You don't have to worry about impressing everyone. Just
No.
go, man,
No.
and enjoy your time.
yes,
It's like your honeymoon and your wedding all in one too.
it is.
For me, man, I'm the same way. Like that's what we're talking about. Like I know if Jackie's parents are listening, we have talked about this a couple of times of where we're gonna do it, and a destination wedding would be a lot of fun and probably end up being cheaper, and so why wouldn't you? Right, at that
I
point.
think it could be an easy sell for a lot of people too,
Mm-hmm.
because, I mean, for them, it's a vacation plus a celebration of their
Yeah.
family. So we had like 20 people that came with us.
Holy cow,
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
That was for us, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure.
That's cool. So I imagine the bullying might have had something to do with you getting starting into martial arts, or at least watching martial arts shows, or
You know what, I don't want to overcomplicate this, but I would say that has a lot to do with it.
Mhm.
Not wanting to feel the way I did about
Yeah.
it, absolutely. I don't want to, look, I don't know if I was terrified, but I was scared to go to school. There was no
Yeah.
doubt at times.
I couldn't see that because now I feel like anyone said something to you, you just destroy them.
Well, I feel more confident,
Yeah.
but it takes more than words now.
Sure.
In my life, and at my age, but yeah, I think that had a lot to do with it, getting involved in martial arts. I'll tell you what, like you and I talked about movies,
Mhm.
being a product of the 70s. I mean, the cartoons were violent back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say it's exactly that, because everybody would have done martial arts if it was just that, but the old original Spider-Mans,
Sure.
they were very violent, man. If you ever
Oh
watched
yeah.
them. Speed
Batman,
Racer.
Bang Pow.
Yeah, right.
Adam West.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And Speed Racer, and I know you had Shane on the podcast.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Theater was a
Yeah.
big deal, man. So it was just constantly, those type of shows. That was one. I think the culture, like I said, it was, you had movies. I was being bullied, and just the culture was. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not down any other generation, but I think ours was definitely grittier.
Sure.
That type of thing, and so yeah, I think a combination of all that. I think the bullying for sure. My parents, I think genetics. My mom's a very assertive woman,
Yeah.
and my dad was a scrapper up
Sure.
into his adulthood, for better or worse. I'm just being honest.
Sure.
And I think all those combined, yeah. I don't do very well when people try to get one over on me.
No, it's not a good feeling, man.
It's not.
What age did you actually get to start formally training?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I think it was about. It was off and on, but I remember like 12 years old.
And what was the first martial art?
Karate.
Karate.
Yeah.
I did it too, man.
Yeah.
I made it to brown belt.
Yeah, it was karate. The neighbor across the street was a black belt,
Mhm.
so it was one of those. We had my dad get you guys some lessons, and we did that for a little bit. A lot of jumping around,
Yeah.
throughout the years. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And
I thought you meant in karate.
yeah, I did.
Katas and stuff too.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that too. Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
there was a lot of jumping around with that. Not a lot of consistency is what I mean.
Yeah,
With
okay.
it, but I always would practice it. I get the Black Belt magazine, and they'd have the they'd have the kata forms, and I have it folded over, and doing my thing, or the books.
You memorized this series of
Yes.
moves and blocks. And
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I would do it all. Yeah, shadow box constantly. I was always into that. Yeah, and I'd always fantasize about things like being picked on
Mhm.
and
Being
taking care
the
of
guy,
business.
Beating up 5 attackers. Or
Yeah,
something,
well,
right?
again, if you look at all the movies I watched, Karate Kid was '82.
Yeah.
That was huge. I mean, I think that says it all right there. You know,
Daniel said.
yeah, well, that changed the industry too. You know?
Oh, it blew up,
It
right?
did.
I mean, it was everywhere.
It did. For better and worse.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Let's
say,
be honest,
maybe,
you know,
I don't
so.
know, you know, I don't know if that's good or bad, but it was out there, man,
Yeah.
and people were spending money on, I mean, at the worst case scenario, at least they were exercising, you know,
Yeah.
let's say the technique was garbage or whatever, at least they're moving around, that's good, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
But, you know, now I think there's been proven a few better, what would I say, systems of self-defense, you know, than
I
karate.
think when the UFC came around, our eyes were open.
Yeah, I mean, there's still karate guys, Lyoto Machida, I mean,
Yeah,
he's still an
absolutely.
animal, but I wouldn't want to fight him, but I mean, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the way you train it. I mean, I think when it became a business, a lot of people softened it up.
Oh, for sure.
You know.
Get all the moms in, get all the,
Yes.
all the kids, all the money.
Yeah,
and-
how long does it take to go black belt?
Mm.
We'll get you in 2 years.
Yeah, throw me a few more bucks and we could probably make it happen a little quicker.
It's unfortunate, and,
Uh-huh.
which I hope jiu-jitsu
Does not
go-
get.
It probably will someday. I think we're already seeing it
Mhm.
a little bit of watering down. But I'm hoping, you know, that it maintains its integrity for sure.
Yeah, I hope so too, because it's an embarrassment when you see someone that, like if you see any of those fake black belt videos and they're just getting destroyed by a real black belt, or any of those fail videos on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's embarrassing, you know, you shouldn't be wearing that. at
I
that
agree.
point, Yeah.
I agree. You know, we have a saying, it's not mine, but it's, the mat never lies.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
You can almost tell when somebody gets a hold of you, you go, okay.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
legit, or okay.
Yeah.
Wrong color belt, but, so when did you make the switch to grappling, jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, well, you know, it was '93. I moved
Okay.
back home, and I think I'd been home for a week at the time. It was what, November, yeah. Shane and I was like, you know, I was like, Shane, did you see the pay-per-view commercial?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh yeah. I mean, it was crazy. My heart was pounding just watching the commercial. You know, there was no YouTube and all that.
No,
And, yeah, you're seeing all these.
totally
Yeah. He's like, yeah. I go, let's watch it. So we went to, I think he told you, it was Troy Hollywood Hughes, his home. He had the pay-per-view, and that changed my life forever from that point on.
Boom.
Yep.
You found a gym and started training?
Well, that was the difficult part.
Okay.
What I found was VHS tapes.
No, so you got a basement and,
Yeah, the
Some-
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Action videos,
Mhm.
I got those, and then I think they had a fundamental series, and I got them, and I mean, you talk about a kid, you know, I mean, open them up and slide it in, it couldn't go in fast enough.
yeah.
Yeah, and just working it over and over again, and trying to find people to, you know.
Bodies, it's hard to find
yeah,
bodies sometimes.
Yeah, especially
you know.
back then.
Yeah.
So, my girlfriend at the time, you know, she was cool about, you know, being the dummy, the grappling dummy, excuse me. So, yeah, being the grappling dummy, and that went on for some time. That went on, and then you would hear through the grapevine, right? Like we talked about, hey, so-and-so's into that. So I'd get contact
Give
information.
me his phone
and-
number, yeah, email, whatever,
Yep.
I gotta get
Yep.
hold of him.
Absolutely. And so, and again, back then, there wasn't emails that
Oh,
I
yeah.
recall.
Yeah,
right?
maybe late 90s or something for that,
Yeah. So this is early '90s. So we'd get all kinds of, you know, people's names, and we'd find out some guy in Cicero, Illinois, was he had trained at the Gracie Academy in Torrance for 2 months. I would literally drive.
That's big as brain,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
I would drive there, and you know, there would be times when it was like Bigfoot, finding Bigfoot. You know, it was somebody that they think that was a blue belt. So I'd be in North Chicago because they, you know, my buddy says he's here, and you know, it was just, I was obsessed.
It's a mythical creature, right?
It was back then. Well,
Yeah.
back near, if you were a blue belt,
Oh,
it's
you might as well have been a black belt, right?
yeah,
Right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I couldn't get enough, and then yeah, so living in Belvedere, I was constantly driving to Chicago
Yeah.
to train. You know,
Mhm.
what's his name? Bob Shermer. Bob Shermer. I mean, he was one of the first guys to do the Battle of the Masters.
Okay.
That's where they fought, like UFC.
Mhm.
But the fence wasn't rubber coated. It was actually a fence.
Oh yeah, cut your back up.
Oh yeah, it was brutal. I mean, so yeah, constantly just getting information where I could, training where I could, and that went on for several years up until '97, and then I met Jeff Curtin for the first time.
Oh, nice.
He was a 19-year-old blue belt, and I went there for a week. You know, they had the gi on. I didn't want the gi.
You don't want to wear those pajamas.
Absolutely
No.
not.
Ugh, what are you guys wearing?
Yeah, that I did that, and then a lot of floating and training on my own, and then 2000, you know, I wanted to learn, you know, I wanted to go formal jiu-jitsu training.
Mhm.
And, it was under a guy named Bruce Harvard, Asu Hamdawi. He's still in the area. Guy knew his stuff. I mean, he had a kind of a shaky reputation. I didn't know that at the time, but I stayed with him for about a year, and then walked away for whatever reason for a couple years, and then I wanted to get back into it. And my buddy, who I was training with at Asu's, he was a cop. He was trained with Jeff Curtin, so Jeff
Yeah.
Curtin's name got brought back. Of course, at the time, I thought, you know, he wasn't authentic enough.
Sure.
You know, I
sure.
had my perspective on that, you know, so I didn't really want to do it, but I said, okay, I'll give him a shot, and yeah, I've been with him ever since.
Yeah, so a little in the beginning, a little bit of kind of feeling out, and especially since back then, like you said, it was so fresh. You don't know who to trust or who to take information from, or you know, at that point, there's no YouTube to say, you know, or no videos to say, does this guy know what he's doing, or
No.
is he just feeding me a bunch of crap
No.
and taking my money?
Yeah, so we went to a few dojos, and then
Mhm.
people would talk about this or that person, and I'd write their names down, and how do you get a hold of them, and a lot of that went on for several years.
Yeah,
For sure.
man, that's crazy.
But one thing I didn't tell you about, before I started training jiu-jitsu, it was like '94, I had the bright idea
Oh,
to join Lion's Den, Ken Shamrock's
oh,
Lion's
nice.
Den. So I tried to get a hold of him. It took like a month to get a hold of him. Again, you know, he didn't go by Ken Shamrock. It was Wayne Shamrock.
Oh,
So I only knew him from the first UFC.
yeah.
So I was just impressed with the guy.
What
Good
about the
looking guy,
WWF?
built.
Yeah,
you know,
he was jacked.
He
yeah.
was. And he hit Patrick Smith with whatever, I didn't know what it was. It was a heel hook.
Yeah.
But I didn't know at that time. And I just, man, he just was the epitome of what a warrior looked like.
Yeah.
And so I tried to get a hold of him. I was lost, man. In the '90s, I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I thought, you know, I'm gonna seek this guy out. So I finally got a hold of him. I asked his wife. He wasn't in town at the time. He was fighting professionally in Japan.
Ken Shamrock.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was
yeah.
his job. You know, it was the Pancras organization. Before that, he was doing like work. They call it work, which is like WWE type.
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, professional
Yeah.
wrestling or something.
So I talked to his wife. I said, look, does he train people? That's all I said.
Yeah, can I?
She goes, yeah, he does. You know, who is this? Type of thing. You know. I told her who I was, and she says, oh, he'll be back in town soon. I'll have him give you a call. He did. He called me. I remember the day I was waiting by the landline.
Mm-hmm.
Like this,
yeah, no cell phone.
No cell phones. I was waiting, and I told him who I was, and I think at the time I was weighing 270 pounds.
Ooh.
So I gave him my elevator pitch why he should choose me to come out there, not knowing what the process was.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. Anyway, so we set up a time. I flew out there the first time, nervous as can be. Hadn't prepared for it at all, for what was about to come.
Oh.
So, he didn't tell me. So we were at the airport, and Bob, I think he's passed away since then. His father, his adopted father, picked me up at the airport, and he picked me up, and then Jason DeLucia, I don't know if you know that name.
Mm-mm.
Did you ever see any of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in actions?
No.
Did you ever see any of the earlier UFCs?
Yeah.
He was in it. I mean, he was in actually one of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in actions. He was a guy from Boston, had the Boston accent, you know, decent guy. And we were picking him up. He had his first fight in Japan.
Wow.
He had fought in the UFC and didn't do very well. And you know, and then Ken was there and picked Jason up. And anyway, so trained Jason for a little bit. Jason flew to Japan, won his first match in the Pancras organization. That wasn't MMA back then.
No.
If you remember, it was a lot, you know, you could palm to the face, punch
Yeah.
the body kick and all that. And you had to wear Speedos. So, yeah, I'll get to that. So, no, he picked me up and then picked Jason DeLucia up. And, you know, he wasn't the warmest, nicest guy.
His dad?
No,
Or Ken?
Bob was.
Oh,
Bob was
Bob,
awesome.
okay.
Jason, I'm talking about Jason
Oh, okay.
DeLucia.
Yeah.
So he picked us up and he had knee barred. one of the original founders of it, Funaki. So it was a big day for him. And so anyways, we got there, and that's when I met Frank Shamrock. That was the first time I met him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had just gotten out of prison.
For what?
I don't know for sure, but I think he was dealing. He was a dealer. He was, you know, the guy. Yeah, I mean, he's changed his life around obviously since then. I think he's talked about that anyway.
Yeah.
So
He's a smaller guy too, right? Or
he
no?
is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, well built, an athlete.
Mhm.
You know, had a real. He was real gritty, dude.
Yeah,
and,
he
you know,
was.
have to be with his upbringing, and he was adopted by Bob. As
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it was just 3 of us in an apartment. There was no furniture in there. Yeah, and I remember hanging out there for a little bit. Ken finally came to see me, and introduced himself officially and all that. And he said, "Okay, tomorrow's the big day." I go, "Okay." By the way, and he wasn't going to tell me.
Yeah.
Apparently. So I asked him. I said, "What we're gonna, you know,
What
what's
are
the
we
big
doing?"
day?"
Yeah.
And I mean, he goes, "Yeah, we're gonna do an initiation." I'm like, "Oh, okay," like that. So my heart was just
Like you
stamping.
just joined a fraternity or something?
Well, yeah, we're a gang. It was more like a gang. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
And that's what it was. Almost. It was like I had to get jumped in.
What?
And, yeah, that's my look. I'm just, yeah, that's what it was. So again, all 3 of us are in the apartment. We're hanging out. Everything is fine. We're friendly. Once it was told that Frank was going to be the one to initiate me, he was not very friendly anymore.
Yeah. It's like, oh, by the way, tomorrow I have to kick your ass.
It was
so.
that way. I was just nervous. I'm feeling it now.
I'm going home. Like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah, well, I'm in California at the time, so yeah, I'm stuck there, and I'm trying to process this, like what's going down, because I don't know if it's UFC, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, at the time, right? I mean, because did you go there to train jiu-jitsu or just to train MMA altogether, or what?
No, it wasn't MMA back then. No,
Oh.
it was grappling.
Just-
you know.
okay.
Back then it was just grappling. Jiu-jitsu, grappling, chokeholds.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I
just
wanted to
submission
train.
grappling
Yeah.
or whatever.
But I mean, the thought of making a living doing pancreation fighting, or the Pancreas organization, for a living, that was very appealing. And that's how my life was been before that. I don't begrudge anybody that's got a job. I respect that. I just didn't want a job.
Yeah.
I didn't want a job,
You want to do something different,
I wanted to do something exciting. I
Yeah.
wanted to wake up every day, and you know, which is what I have now. But at the time, yeah, that was one of the things that I tried. Was, you know, oh, I'm going to try the Pancreas, you know, because repoing cars wasn't enough for me.
No.
I tried that too. So no, so yeah, I just wanted something exciting, and I gave him a call, and like I said, we did all that. You know, so the day of, we do this. He's getting taped up, and I wasn't. No one was really paying a lot of attention to me at the time. So I'm just sitting there, and I mean, I'm just nervous. I can't even begin to tell you, man. Like, I don't know what's going on. I felt like I was by myself.
Yeah.
You know, he literally shut the shades and locked the door. Now I don't know if he did that to, you know, fuck with me.
To heighten it up, yeah,
but
heighten the suspense, yeah.
He did, and there was a camera, so there's a recording of it somewhere.
Oh, jeez.
And he goes, okay, so we're in this ring.